Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the Lenushka Babushka podcast. Today we have a multidimensional being of many talents and different wonderful things she does and is, not just does. Hannah Stone, who is currently in the UK, but is originally from Canada. Is that correct?
Raised
Did I
in
get that
Canada.
right? Aha, raised in Canada. Okay. And she is joining us today to speak about supernatural occurrences, epiphanies, and all the other things that make her her. And the wonderful human being that she is, but also, besides being a human being, I believe she is a star seed planted here on this earth at this time to bring us wisdom and to remind us, hey, it's all okay because we're all the same, pretty much. So, Hannah, welcome.
Thank
What is present for you today?
What's present for me today?
Yes.
This is what I'm present for today. Lena, first of all, congratulations on your first episode. Is that correct?
Yes,
So I'm popping your podcast cherry.
you are. Oh.
Thank you. So your question was what's present for me? I'm just excited, Lena. I'm excited to answer any and all surprising and delightful questions that come my way. What's present for me is enjoying being healthy, having a complete reclamation of my physical self, as you know, because I was bedridden for 3 years. It's a long story. I've got my mind reclaimed. I'm enjoying my life as a single, sober, celibate woman who's lighting shit up for myself. Like I'm just taking care of myself and creating and launching all the businesses that I've been downloading and receiving the last couple of years. But the most exciting thing for me right now is to be with you for an hour where you are like without children, without stress, without work, and you're launching your podcast, which is like a gift to the world. So thank you for doing this.
Aw, you're a gift to the world, woman. Okay, so first off, I just wanted to ask you, can you give us a brief synopsis of your childhood? What was it like being a little Hannah?
So my childhood, my parents are English, so my blood is English. They moved to New Zealand. My mom and dad, so there were four children. Four of them were my mom's, like she had a husband and another kid and another father of child. So they emigrated. I'm not going to give you like the whole like starting with day one, but I just want to give you the background because my story was very much based in this decision. My mom was 34 with four children, and my dad was 20 with no children. So 14-year different. Like it's a big commitment, right? Anyways, they connected, fell in love, moved from England to New Zealand with three of the four children, and then had me there. Three of the four, because the oldest one stayed and went to police school, had me in New Zealand and then emigrated to Canada. So born to very adventurous English people, but they have the imprint of keep calm, carry on, keep the peace. Let's not talk about it. Let's what like repression in the lovely English way, right? So here I
Mm.
am as this fireball of a person, as you can see, right? Like this is me trying to tone it down. I'm like, red, like this is me actually toned down, right?
I
Like,
don't want you toned down.
and no, 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 but you know what I mean? I was like, I don't have to like, hot pink on everybody right now. So, yeah, so I came in as me, as this fireball, to a very tired mother who absolutely loved me, a father who was so happy to have me, right? Mom and dad loved me, and they weren't in a great relationship with themselves, and that reflected in the marriage, right? So, and my birth caused a lot of pain for my oldest sibling, who was 13 at the time, because it meant less attention for her. There's a new guy here who's only 7 years old. There was a whole bunch of dynamics. So my childhood was me learning that safety meant reading the room. And if she was in the room, my older sister, who I love and adore now and did then, but like we've had our stuff, right? Forgiveness but I was her trigger. I learned that when she was in the room to not shine, to not make everybody laugh or do somersaults or too much because the energy and what she said and it was just painful and scary. So it wasn't like I was abused by anyone. I was never hit by anybody in my childhood, right? That came later in my relationships, right? But there was this toning down, like just tone it down, right? And it's like I am ADHD, I'm like I say, I can't even remember, ADHD on the autism spectrum, sometimes extremely, sometimes presenting, masking really well, and then sometimes just being in the pocket, which is me now, right? Like highly sensitive, highly emotional, feeling everything, nervous. I take on people's anxiety. So the imprint from childhood was very much me taking on everybody's anxiety and feelings because I am an empath, but I'm not a victim to my superpower anymore, right? I now
Hmm.
know that I just don't surround myself with people who aren't on the path that I want to be on, right? Like I'm not living with parents who don't like each other or themselves and are worried about money, and there's a little blonde kid who wants more sugar, right? Like I was a sugar addict as well, right? So, and again, I don't believe in labels, but they're important to acknowledge and identify the symptoms. So when I say ADHD, people, if you know someone with ADHD, you know that it could have taken me 5 hours to get ready for this podcast or 10 seconds because I'm so fast. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and loving parents, again, adventurous in that they moved to another country twice, right? In the 70s. And we didn't have a lot of money. Mom worked, or dad worked, and mom took care of us until I was old enough for her to work. But I grew up with a mom who was like making do. She was always making something for me out of my brothers or knitting us sweaters that I was ungrateful for. So I've got a mom. Imagine you have two children, right? So you're
Hmm.
raising two kids with a husband and a job. So imagine now four kids with a husband who's, going to work and stuff, but there was never excess money. And you're knitting your kids sweaters. And after like a month of sitting on the couch, after she's made dinner and cleaned up, she's knitting me a sweater and she gives it to me. And I'm like, oh, no, like a classic teenager of like, right? So, yeah, incredible parents. And there was just a dynamic I was not set up for success because I didn't even know what I needed. I now know, which is freedom and nature.
Hmm.
Yeah, does that answer the
Hmm.
question?
Yes, it does. How do you define addiction?
Um, okay, so that's a great question because I am an addict for sure.
I think most of us are,
I think most of
honestly.
us
I
are.
mean,
Yeah, absolutely. It depends where your addiction goes, right? So if I was a workaholic and a gym bunny aholic, I would present really well on the scale of the matrix. I'd be a success. I'd have the car, the house, the this, the that, everything's paid for. I'd have the assistant who did the stuff, whatever. But I'm an addict and I'm not, whatever, I'm acting, addictively. But my story came in with addiction to food to begin with. And then there was 18 years of being bulimic. I got sober at 30, which was 23 years ago, and I was addicted to cocaine, alcohol, heroin, and crack. Anything you gave me that felt good, I was addicted to, basically, right? So I've had this experience of addiction from the lens of Alcoholics Anonymous, which is where I got sober, again, 23 years ago. And I would recommend it to everybody because AA is incredible. If you find a group that works the program like we did in the 30s, not somebody who's placating and censoring their story or the way the meeting works to someone, right? People
hmm.
it's not a place where people pleasing or codependency. So yeah, I'm just getting into that. But my definition of addiction is the thing that's current that continues to take me out of my power, continues to distract me from the moment. And with all of my willpower, I can't stop it. So if my addiction is, I'm going to quit drinking today, I have to quit drinking today, I have to pick the kids up at 3 o'clock, which was not my story, but it's a lot of, right? And I absolutely know I don't want to be a drunk mom or a mom who, once the kids are at school, can't not drink before 11 a.m. or 5 p.m. Kids are home safe. I know a lot of women who had this situation. So I make a decision to not drink that day, and by two, I have to have a drink just to get in the car and then I can have a drink like right. So I've made the
Mm.
decision and my actions override the decision. So the compulsion is bigger than the desire to stop. That's what
Mm.
the decision is. Addiction is active, right?
Hmm.
Then yeah, and then the solution to that is the pain of the action has to be greater than the pain of stopping. The pain of asking for help as a mother, right? Whether you're addicted to being, perfect, doer, all the stuff. I mean, we live in a world where addiction is like it's like a play school for addiction, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I have a 24/7 addictive device on me at all times, and so do all of us, right?
Right.
Yeah, and so I wanted to say I used to think addiction was an affliction that could never be cured because I've witnessed my addiction go from food to alcohol to then in sobriety go back to being bulimic for the first 4 years, free of that now. But I've been addicted to negative thought systems, men, dating, never been a sex addict, but I've been a love addict, attention addict, and then food, and then codependency, addicted to the denial of codependency. I don't know what that's called, maybe martyrdom, and, addicted to the victim triangle,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then I can get addicted about recovery and podcasts. Like I can,
Mm,
oh, it still can, like
I
you,
resonate.
right? Like you were watching a podcast a day because one of your dreams is to be a podcaster, right? So do you see what I'm saying? Like, and
Yeah,
it was a distraction because you were learning a lot, but I can get caught in the learning. Like, I'm going to be a podcaster, so I've got to do this. So I now have an excuse for this thing that's now become an addiction. Like, I actually can't stop, right?
right, right. It's like when your consumerism is greater than your creativity. It's like that almost,
Yeah.
right?
Or greater than your wage. That's another problem, right? Hence, like, credit cards, right? If you're
Mm-hmm.
going into bankruptcy, credit card debt, your spending addiction pattern out of unmanageability is bigger than your income, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've done that
Yeah,
one too, right? Yeah.
for sure. Tell us how you stumbled upon Kelly Brogan. I'm really curious to know the full, you don't have to shorten it up, just like how you came across her and what made you kind of go with her program and how that affected you, because I know it affected you very much.
Right, totally. So Kelly Brogan, Dr. Kelly Brogan, I'm just going to first of all, if anybody doesn't know who she is, I want to explain who she is because it's all very important, right?
Right.
So the short story is that I was misdiagnosed with schizoaffected bipolar, taken away in a paddy wagon, taken to a psych ward, um, and then medicated to the point where I couldn't move. I was bedridden. And then I went back to the psych ward a second time for another 30 days in England. This is 5 years ago, started. And then medicated to the point of paralysis, couldn't walk, couldn't get out of bed, couldn't function, couldn't do anything. Like, I mean, it's crazy. What happened from my medication? In all of that time, so I'm dying of medication. I've had 2 heart attacks at this point from the meds, which is on the side effect. Like side effects may include death by myocarditis, something, something, right? So I'm in this place of hell in bed, but I am a very thriving person. I will thrive like as when I couldn't go up the stairs, I would crawl and I'd be like, I'm a kitty cat. I'm having fun. Like everything fucking hurts. And I don't know when this is going to end. So if I'm miserable and in pain and feeling insane and I have all these diagnoses that I have to take pills forever, at least make it fun. So I painted in bed and I watched nonstop readers online, animal intuitives, and Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson, and comedians like Theo Vaughn and Louis C.K., like comedians, like we talk about, and Ricky Gervais, right? Like Jimmy, is it Jimmy Carter? No, no, Jimmy Carter. Who's the
Carson? Is it
no,
Carson?
Jimmy Carson? No,
No.
I watch him all the time.
Is
Tall.
it the late night guy? No.
No, it's the one who when he laughed. Jimmy Carr? Jimmy Carr, I think. I think it's Jimmy Carr. I know him.
Oh, okay.
He's one of my favorites. He's the one that when he laughs, he goes, he laughs in anyway. So I was aware that my spirit had chosen this situation, right? I'm in bed, I'm dying, I'm trying to thrive, I'm trying to figure it out. I know that the meds are killing me, but everybody around me is medicating me because I have bipolar and I want to go off my meds. When I go off my meds, I have massive detox from the meds and I go into a psychosis and sickness, right? So it's like, it's not working. So right before this happened, I was watching Joe Rogan because I love him and when I paint, I listen to him. He interviewed Dr. Kelly Brogan, psychiatrist, board certified, Ivy League trained psychiatrist, American, practicing for 12 years in New York, successful practice. She has I know I'm talking in circles, but I'm telling you the whole story. She had a Hashimoto's diagnosis and in that moment knew that there's no way she's going to take the meds that she's giving other people meds like that she's medicating, right? It was
Mm,
this moment of clarity. Long story short, she breaks free, cures Hashimoto's naturally, and then gets really pissed because she just spent 200 grand and just medicated a bunch of medicating or not medicating pregnant and lactating women, right? She would medicate
Hmm.
pregnant women of all people. So she's got this like she didn't just medicate people, she medicated people with babies in them, right? Which is a big deal, right? It's like it's part of the society that's so broken. And she had a not even a like a 180. She had like a Fibonacci spiral out of that situation, right? Came to and then was being interviewed about that on Joe Rogan. I saw this before I went had my first awakening, which it was awakening turned psychosis because of the meds, right? So yeah. So that's how I found Kelly. So I've had this imprint of the 3 hour interview, which I recommend for anyone and everyone that's medicated, whose kids are medicated, like anyone, just watch it. It's incredible. Changed my life. So
We'll put a link to in the show
yeah,
notes.
absolutely, right? So yeah, so I had this education and fast forward to now, I've been to 2 psych wards and I'm home with my ex-partner who was trying to care for me but had no skills because we didn't know how to take care of someone like me who wasn't bipolar, but who was medicated for bipolar, who wasn't schizophrenic, but believed I was because they told me. So I have a diagnosis that we're both terrified of and both want to treat, right? We both want to treat what's happening with me because it's scary. So I go back to Kelly Brogan while I'm in bed, can't move. And I went back to, I committed to a masterclass on Kelly Brogan, right? As in, I'm going to watch everything that she talks about. I'm going to go to Reclamation Radio and listen to her and learn what this woman knows, just like I do with Joe. I love who he is and what he is. And so I know that if he's interviewing someone, he's interested in this person. So I want to learn with him because I like
Right.
and respect him, right?
Hmm.
Thank you, Joe Rogan, for saving my life. P.S.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, right? Holy shit. I mean, he has no idea. I'm one person who watched one episode of one person that he interviewed. Like, imagine the fractals of how many lives he's changed and saved, right? So, yeah, and then I started to study while sick. So I took the pills. I was a good girl. I didn't fight it. I didn't want to be on the meds, but I wanted my relationship. I wanted to be able to show up. I wanted my health back. So I did the thing that allopathic medicine, right, which is Western medicine, I did the thing that allopathic medicine tells me to do, which is take the pill. And if be a good girl, take the pill because you're sick, bad, broken, dangerous, and potentially criminally insane. That's your future. That was my option was
Mm.
psychotic and locked up for life, or on the loose and suicidal and homicidal because I'm a schizophrenic alcoholic. Like I'm not in relapse, but I have a lot of like I'm autistic, I'm ADHD, schizo affected bipolar, right? And a narcissist, like totally on that spectrum, but not the one who like it was narcissism in all I ever thought about was me. That was it, right? Just trying to fix me my whole life, which is a form of narcissism that can be cloaked as being an empath, right? Like I said, keeps
Mm.
me in the
Good
victim
point.
triangle, right? Is,
Hmm.
I'm so sensitive, everyone has to tiptoe around me because, oh, you're smoking in the room and I can't take it, right? Like something I do to my dad when I see him. He doesn't smoke around me. So to answer your question, so I surrendered to Kelly's program, Vital Mind Reset, right? Which is a 44-day program where you change your food patterns. You do a bunch of small changes, but mostly it's healthy food and a program that comes with it. You get a video from Kelly every day. She shows you yoga, there's mindful stuff, there's a community where you meet once a week, and you just get yourself down to a ground zero where I'm not coming off the meds at this point. She doesn't get you off your meds at all. She just gets you free of the paradigm that you're sick, that there's no other option besides
The pills.
essentially like jail's institution and death, or the death of being medicated for your life, because that was my option, right? Like there was a suicide. I almost took my life during this time because I'll just tell you. So I hear her talking about Vital Mind Reset, and it's April 2023, and I have no money because I'm not supported. I'm an artist and I'm sick. And I have a great website with clothes and art, but I couldn't run it because I couldn't look at a screen because I was always in between detoxing and trying to level out, right? Because I was having heart attacks and panic attacks and I wasn't living well at all. So I was constantly trying to find stasis. So VMR did that for me, Vital Mind Reset, which I'll send you the link to because people need to know about this. Like you can do it. Not that you're suffering from anything, Lena, but if you do this 45-day reset, 44-day reset, you're balanced, you're grounded. You end up with a sovereignty, a mind that is like, wait, I don't have to take those meds ever. I don't even have to have a doctor. I don't need paracetamol in the house even because I'm reclaiming my mind. And when I do that, my body follows suit, right? Very easy little sentence that Hannah Stone just said, but my experience of that simple sentence with all the knowledge behind that sentence of the other stuff that Kelly teaches, the experience of VMR, the wisdom and knowledge that I have of 23 years in addiction recovery, right? In that time, relapsing on psych meds at year 13, which I relapsed on benzodiazepine. So I've,
Mm.
oh, the dangers of psych meds on a lot of levels, right? And when I say relapse, I didn't drink, but I took a drug and wanted more of it, which was benzodiazepine, because I was having, this is like, yeah, 13 years sober. So 10 years ago, I went through a panic attack time and then got benzos, which was like my get out of jail free card. Like I love them, Lena, like they help, right? But if you know anything about Jordan Peterson and his trip with them, they are the most toxic, in my opinion, deadly substance if used and abused, and if you're detoxing off them without help, professional help.
Hmm.
Let me get back to the other part, which was, yeah, so I did this and I did it on medication and I got free. I got free and then I got off my meds. And there's a long story after that. But I went back to Kelly and got the help again, and now I'm completely free of all diagnoses. And I'm still absolutely on the autism spectrum, the neurodiverse, because I'm
Hmm.
an artist, right? And a writer and a creator and a business person and an innovator. I constantly have ideas, and I'm a creator, a clothing designer, like, and I've created an oracle deck, Funny Farmer Animal Oracle deck. Like I'm constantly having to do something. So when you medicate that, put this in bed, and I gained 40 pounds from the meds because my body was trying to protect herself, right? So let me just explain this part. I think you might know this because I've said it before, but it's important if somebody is taking meds and is gaining weight, right? I was
Please.
told, here's quetiapine for your antipsychotic, right? First of all, even the name, I'm taking an antipsychotic, which reinforces every day that I'm psychotic, right? Antidepressant reinforces every day that I'm depressed. So, right, just the labeling, everything about it. Can you take me back to what I was talking about? I've already forgotten.
Oh, you started talking about the animal deck and how you always create and how you put out new
Okay,
ideas.
yeah, so snuffing that. I'm so excited to be here,
It's
Lena.
okay.
I was talking about Kelly and this after the Vitamin Mind Reset, I was empowered enough to then make steps from a place of consent. I realized
Mm.
it was like she pulled me out of I've already given consent to the psychiatrists who are now with the swipe of a pen can put me into an institution for life, into a sanitarium, right? I was sitting at one point in my second, when I was getting discharged from the second psychiatrist, the second intake of 30 days, intake, my second psychiatric ward of 30 days, that day where you have your stuff, you're waiting to be released, you're waiting in the hallway, waiting for the god who's in a white lab coat and
Code.
a pen, the psychiatrist who I've now godified, right, and parentified, waiting for him to please let me go back into society because I was bad, sick, dangerous, all the stuff. They're protecting me from myself, and they're protecting Lena from Hannah. So it's a constant reification of the how fucking shitty and fucked up you are, right?
Mm.
And so I know I'm going off, but this is what it's
No,
about.
it's fine. You're fine.
So I remember
I'm
sitting
following.
in the cafeteria with my caseworker, and then along came the psychiatrist who had paperwork to institutionalize me for another 6 months. So I thought I was getting released that day, and he's saying, sign here, sign here, sign here. I think I'm signing to be released today,
Mm.
and I'm signing papers that are incarcerating me for another 6 months, which
Yeah.
shows me as
I just got
well.
goosebumps.
I know, and I am lucid. I'm medicated, but I'm lucid. Like I knew that I was signing a contract to release me today, but what he was doing, and it wasn't him coerce, it wasn't coercion. It was just he was just like sign this, and then it went down and it said, I, Hannah Stone, on this date, give full whatever permission to my life for the next 6 months. And I was like, what is this 6 months? Is this like I get like I thought I was leaving today, and for 6 months I'd have a caseworker, and that I was signing to someone. That's what I thought, right? So I actually signed it, which scared the fucking bejesus out of me. Sorry about the language.
No, you're fine.
I signed it. And then he said, it's, oh, we're transferring you to the other psychiatric permanent run. And I went into tears and I had a moment of like, oh my God, I just signed that. And even if I didn't, I'd still be going there because I couldn't have refused it because I was to sign this, right?
Mm,
So I went into like my superpowers of manipulation, of being a chameleon, of being a woman, of doing, now I have to become the person who's advocating for herself in the system, the matrix system, in the psychiatric system, but in the psych ward. I'm already locked up. So I'm not Kelly Brogan, screaming from, singing from the hilltops about what these meds have done to thousands of our patients. I'm the patient who's got no rights. So I went into like, oh, and like I'm an actress, right? And I was like, oh, wait, 1 second. I just signed for 6 months because that's not what I thought was going to happen, first of all. So I'd like it on record that I haven't given consent to this. Does somebody have a recording device? So I'm like in, and he's like, wait, what? And I said, my phone is in there. I'd like this to be recorded that I have not consented. So he panics a little bit because he's talking to someone who's not going to fucking be locked up, right? Ever,
right.
and was locked up one more time after that and killed. Like it's crazy. So he adjusts himself. And then I say, listen, I thought I was going to be released today. I'm actually good. I'm taking my medication, right? I have, show me my meds and I will agree to that. I'll sign on that. I thought I was being released today. I've been coherent for the last 20 days in here because you're not crazy for the 30 days. You're maybe crazy for the first two. And when I say crazy, you're adjusting to being handcuffed, taken away, locked up, and diagnosed and medicated. Like it's a lot, right? So I prayed to Jesus in that moment. And I'm not kidding you. Like I pray to Jesus all the time, as you know, right? Like I pray to everything and everybody, right? I pray to the tigers, but I was like, Jesus, I need you on this one. Like, and I'd just been it was fascinating because the day before a lady from the church had come and given us
Like a pamphlet.
no, what are the things you take in church and you drink wine and the
Oh, like the little round white thing. I don't know what it is. Is it
right? Neither of
sugary?
us
Yeah.
know. Confirmation, no, whatever they do at church,
I know what you mean.
the body of Christ and the blood of Christ, right? So I was invited to, this is part of the story. I was invited to sit with this nun. It was a woman, pastor, I don't know, and Peter, my friend who was there. And he said, come and take communion with me. And I said, okay, absolutely. So we sat, we prayed, she opened her Bible, we read, I took communion. She leaves. The next day, I'm faced with basically life in a sanitarium because, Lena, if they took me to a 6 month sanitarium, you want to bet I am freaking the F out to the point where I'm now rocking back and forth. Like that was my
Mm,
experience. So I knew if I fought it, they would medicate me to the point where I can't hear and I'm not fighting, take her away. I'm not even fighting the straitjacket that I was in at the time. Not it was I was in a straitjacket before that. At this point, I'm like dressed and ready to go, right? So I've had days of countdown to this day, and the countdown is you've got another 6 months. And I know 6 months means forever because I'm going to lose my mind and I'm going to beat the shit out of anyone who's trying to medicate me, right? So it was a moment. And I prayed. So like any of the Christians and Jesus followers know that Jesus showed up for me, however, and whoever that was. And I, who am not a Christian, but totally believe in the power of Jesus and Buddha and Lakshmi and all the gods and light. Like I'm a woo-woo creative tarot reading oracle creator, right? I knew that I prayed to spirit and spirit came in and all my angels and my granddad was there. And that pen, when he signed me off that day, was God. Yeah, so it was, am I going to go away for life or not? And so I had to convince him that I was medicated, I was sane, that if he put me away, I would lose my mind. I explained to him how scary it is and how I'm scared of the pills, but I'm taking them. I'll be a good girl, I promise. And that this wasn't consent, and that I would actually file a lawsuit eventually if I ever got
mhm.
out, but I doubt I will. So, how about you and I come to an agreement where you give me a 30-day leave, is what I got. So I got a 30-day leave and then I never went back. I left the country. Right?
Mm. Dodge. Get out of Dodge.
Yeah. So I went to Portugal to heal.
Mm. Portugal.
Yeah.
That's where I want to end up one day.
I'll be
Just,
there for sure. I mean,
I have a calling.
yeah, definitely. We'll be there for sure.
Yeah, we can all get
I mean,
together.
the funny farm's going to be there. I'm going to live in Portugal. It's my number one place that I'm
That
de
was my next question.
yeah,
Can you tell us about the funny farm? Because I have had that kind of idea in my mind for a very long time now since I met you, and I really believe in it. And actually, I don't believe in it. I know it, like that's the difference between knowing and believing something, right? Like when
yeah.
you have an inner knowing, I know it's going to come to fruition. I know it's going to occur, and I can't wait to be a part of it. So, can you tell us a little bit about what it is? And then do you want to pull a card for us?
Yes.
or cards?
Thank you for asking, by the way. The Funny Farm is my brand and it's my mission and it's my calling and it's and again, I'll put the cards up so you people can see what I'm doing. So when I got sick and had my fir got sick, when I had my spiritual awakening, it was 88 animals coming to me at once in art form, in visual form. I don't know if you've seen Beatrix Potter, the movie with Renee Zellweger. Have you seen that where the bunnies run off the page, right? I
Yes.
I so relate to that, Lena. So the room lit up with animals that were animated in my style. And I got the message immediately that it's time for you to create this animal oracle deck that you've always wanted to create, right? Which is a deck that I've created. Like I've got my sample deck here. Oh, look who's
Which I have already ordered and I'm waiting for it.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's almost at print, right? It's
Mhm.
about raising the money to go to print, which is on its way as well. So I yeah, so what broke me open was the animals, right? And then when I got home after the second psych ward with meds, I had a message from Spirit of like, this is going to be difficult what you've signed up for, Hannah, because I had one more psych ward ahead of me. But let's paint these animals. So I took every penny I had, which was not much. I was getting money from the government each month in England because in the psych ward they sign you if you have schizobipolar, the one of the best parts is you get government funding because it helps you to sleep without worrying about how to get to work when your brain is fucked and you can't leave the living room floor because of the meds, right? So I had a limited amount of money, but I spent it all on art supplies because it's my way to soothe myself. And then I listened to podcasts for 3 years and painted. So what I did was I created this animal oracle deck which is based on, Native American and Aboriginal uh, eons of wisdom, like the people who live closest to nature, right? Whether they're Aboriginals, Native Americans, First Nations, tribal people, and like the old English white lady who gardens and lives in the country in England, the pagan who, acknowledges the moon cycles and taking all of that wisdom, right? Plus the woo-woo crystals and my art taking all of that wisdom and magic and creating an animal oracle deck that is also a essential oil deck as well. So it's got the plants with the animals that I've created. That's the funny farm. And so that's the deck that I am like, it's finished and I'm taking pre-orders, right? And I've been taking pre-orders for the last couple of years to help me fund myself to create this while I can't make my food bill because I've brought this amount of art supplies, right? So that, right? And so
You're
it's kind of a
trusting.
trend. Yeah, would you say?
You're trusting, which is very important.
Yeah, yeah,
When
yeah.
you're, mhm.
So it's the deck is finished and it's incredible and it's beautiful and I'm so excited about it. The deck, 99% of all the profits from this deck, so from my life's work to date, are going to go to funding the actual Funny Farm, which is a literal farm. It's a rescue farm for animals and humans. So it's primarily a farm with outbuildings, so like camping, glamping, but it's going to be gorgeous. Like the glamping we are going all out. It's going to be like it's the funny farm where you come to have fun, right? So it's a retreat center, it's a rescue farm for animals, and it's a rescue farm for people. And the concept is, you know, I've worked in I've not worked in rehabs, drug rehabs, but I've visited them and I've spoken as someone who's had clean sobriety for a long period of time, right?
Mhm.
And I'll get to that because my sobriety is no longer clean according to AA because of the plant medicine that I work with. It's not ayahuasca, it's cacao. It's the cacao tree, which is chocolate, and it's doTERRA plant medicine, right? Like so lemongrass, like I have lemongrass oil and grapefruit and pink pepper and Douglas fir and all that kind of stuff, right? Yeah, so this I'm creating a place with Kelly on board. She is on the board of advisors, as you know, right? And she's on like the council, like she's it's going to be part of her brainchild as well. I'm bringing the fun, the business plan, all of the concepts and stuff, but we're going to use Vital Mind Reset there as well. So it's a place where you come when you're feeling broken, bad, wrong, divorced, heartbroken, um, lost, homeless, all like whoever wants help or needs help, right? Getting people off their psychotropic meds each funny farm is going to have a different theme, right? So you're not, so they'll be like, in the form of nature. So the funny farm is an outdoor psychiatric ward, right? Funny farm is a euphemism for the psych ward, like saying the loony bin, it's the funny farm, but it's also about farming fun. And then there's three, the name means three things, like outdoor psych ward, farming fun, and then funny farm, it's spelled PHARM because it's laughter is the best medicine, right? Like, so,
Mm.
and it's true, right? You've said this about comedians, right? Like, we wouldn't be okay if it wasn't for like Jimmy Carr and Theo Vaughn and Joe Rogan. Like, I love his podcast because he's a comedian primarily. He's funny. He smokes weed and interviews these incredible people and is so coherent and incredible. Like, it's interesting. I just want to say this one thing about Joe Rogan is it's interesting that, mainstream media, a lot of people don't like him and don't want him there, but no one's attacked him for smoking weed because he's the best commercial for the medicine of cannabis, right?
Hmm.
He is
Agreed.
successful, he's healthy, he's fit, he helps people, he's humble, he interviews people about Christ and then he interviews people about Satanism and he interviews people like he plays all sides because he's open, right?
Yeah.
And he smokes weed all the time, a lot of the time. So he's like not a functioning alcoholic who's addicted. He's using the medicine and is carrying the message through being him. I just wanted to put that little plug for cannabis because I work with cannabis, which if anybody's in AA is going to think that's a real, and I don't even, I don't even care about that anymore. I work with cannabis in such a beautiful way now. Like I'll have a tiny little interaction with her, whether it's an oil or a gummy or a smoke, and then I'll sit in nature and paint beautiful paintings and have the most incredible day and connect to nature, right?
Well, because you have good intentions,
I
You're
do.
not, doing it to like destroy
Yeah.
yourself, You're
No,
doing
I
it to explore. So,
Yeah. And I pray to her. I have her outside and ground her. And it's not all day, every day at all, which also, like, the definition of a addiction is if you can control it and enjoy it at the same time, it's not an addiction. Like for alcohol, I couldn't control it and enjoy it. If I was controlling it, you've seen alcoholics who were like, I'm having one and I'm like, I don't want to be here. When are we going? Right? I'm controlling it. And then if I'm enjoying it, there's no control. It's like game on, bring it on, let's fucking party, right? But when I'm partying, there's no control. So what I do now with cannabis, the beautiful, like magical plant that connects me to everything that's beautiful and myself and is freedom, it's I can I enjoy her and I can control her. I'm aware,
mhm.
right? I'm not like blowing big
It's not in
fatty,
control of you. Hmm.
not in control of me. Exactly. Blowing big
Hmm.
fatty. You know what I mean? But I'm also okay with that too. Like if I could spend an hour with anyone on the planet or anyone who's passed away, it would be Bob Marley.
Bob Marley. I knew you were going to say that.
Right? It would be like smoking weed with him outdoors, just hanging out with him, right?
I
And
listen to Three Little Birds almost every day now, and I just think of you. I
oh,
just
it's
kind of,
my favorite song. You know I play that for the cows all the time, right? Three little
yeah,
birds
yeah. The cow that licked your, I love that,
that
that
licked my
licked your
toe.
foot.
Yeah. Cows also love again Tori Amos. Plug for Tori Amos.
I
Like,
love Tori Amos. My
yeah.
mom and I love Tori
Like,
Amos.
girl, if you play that for a bunch of cows or horses, they just come running. So the funny farm is, yeah, it's a structure outdoors where we can ground. We are going to connect everybody to all the elements, earth, air, fire, and water intentionally. So the outdoor glamping facilities where people will sleep under the stars, but like without spiders, it's going to be nice. Like it's going to be beautiful. The sheets are going to be linen, which is the highest vibration fabric, right? They're going to be colorful and lovely with like solar charged fairy lights, like all the fun, sweet stuff. Lena, if I had you over to my campground for like a week and I knew that you're a tired mama who's going through a lot and birthing a new podcast and showing up and working for the government, what's your new position?
Well, I am the executive assistant still at the moment.
Two. You're allowed
To
to,
four different deputies. So yeah.
are you allowed
But
to say specifically what I know that you do as a
no, not at the moment because it's not official, but yeah,
okay.
soon I will.
But you work for the US government.
Yes, well, I'm a contractor for the government. Yeah,
Yeah, and you do, so you have a very important role, right?
I think so.
And you love it and you bring joy, right? So
Yeah.
if I could have you for a week at the Funny Farm, I would like there's gonna be hammocks set up that when you get there, there's like me with a big, beautiful pink jug of icy strawberry water or something, right? And do you want anything? I bring you snacks. I bring you a little cover, headphones. I tuck you in, right? I basically it's bringing people to the Funny Farm and making it like the coolest, funnest, sweetest experience. And we're not focusing on your drinking or your addiction or like that you have no home in 30 days or that people hate you or we don't focus on what's broken about you. We focus on like let's have fun and connect to nature and community. So it's bringing in the wisdom of a few incredibly wise teachers like Gabor Mate, right?
Hmm.
he teaches a lot, but I know he's worked downtown east side in Vancouver, where I'm from. I've seen and met people whose lives he's changed. His number one teacher or uh, teaching to me that he's gotten globally, taught us globally, is that community and the sense of belonging is the thing that treats addiction, separation,
Right.
the
Exactly.
healing for the
Separation is the
yeah, the
addiction.
belief in separation, right? And then Brene Brown about being vulnerable, right? And being part of community. So taking that, wisdom, taking
And
clear,
we'll also have a Gene Keys workshop.
totally, absolutely. Well, you're going to be a part of it for sure, right? So imagine we bring just like, let's just say an addict, someone who is addicted to crack, pretty serious, and maybe they have schizoaffected bipolar, and they're addicted to crack, and they're on the streets, right? So I have a facility where we also have a building where we're going to have an art center so they can create. I can teach any art. I'm going to be living there and doing this. We're going to have an outdoor stage, a proper stage where we can have comedians show up and entertain because it's the funny farm. So you don't arrive scared of the schedule or scared of like trauma talking at 6. Like when you go to a rehab for alcohol or yeah, any rehab, drug and alcohol rehab, you the focus is you're bad, broken, and wrong. You need to quit drinking or else you're fucked. And you come to the
Right.
funny farm and we're like, hey, let's hang out and camp and eat organic food that we've gardened with our shoes off because we're connecting you to earth. To
Yeah.
community, right? Tonight you're going to set the table at the restaurant that we have where you're learning to serve. We're also going to be not reprogramming, like getting people skills, right? So there's all these things about recovery from drugs and alcohol, and it's not just getting you clean and sober and sending you to AA meetings. It's finding
Giving you
out what
something to
you're
do.
not
Hmm.
just something to do, Lena, but like your calling,
What you're good at.
what you're
Mm.
good at. Like imagine you with all of those symptoms, like you're on the street, right? You have a boyfriend because you're a woman on the street, and you have to have a boyfriend when you're a woman on the street, right? Men
Yeah.
can be single on the street, but I need someone to protect me. And my protector that I can choose from is an addict who's a man. So like you take me away from the man who's protecting me and I'm addicted to, I have no money, I'm on crack. But 10 years ago, I was Lena Kovac and I wanted to open a podcast, but I've forgotten about that. We bring you to the funny
Mm.
farm, and within hours or days, someone said to you, what's your biggest dream? And you're like, you know what? I would just love to interview people. So we set you up for that so that when you leave the funny farm, we've like set it up for you so that you can actually step into what you're doing. First day
So you're
podcast.
gonna help people remember. That's the
Remember,
best.
remember who they are, exactly. And there's going to
Hmm.
be a tiny home production place too where you can learn to build stuff and contribute and stuff. And we're going to be providing homes for people afterwards. It's a big concept, this concept. It's not small. It's not just one facility. It's checking all the boxes, right? So that when you go home, you're set up with a community online, a Funny Farm online social network, right? Like the sisterhood that where we met, right? The Fluorescent Sisterhood. Thank you, Blue and
Thank
Red,
you, Blue and Reggie.
right? And thank you, Gene Keys. Thank you, Richard Rudd, who I hope you will interview on this podcast soon. I
I
want
hope
to
so.
interview him too on mine.
I did meet him in London in November.
You
It was
did, you
wonderful.
did. And what did he say to you? What was the prompt he gave you?
He said, "Do you have a podcast?" Or sorry, he said, "Do you have a YouTube channel?" And I said, "No." He said, "You should." He just left.
Right? But that was impactful for you, wasn't it? So like he's going to see this. He's going to be like, wow, just that one thing of like, so that medicine of right there, of like, because I know it's taken you a while to do this first episode. You and I tried about a month ago, but I wasn't ready. You weren't ready. There were, logistical stuff.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah. And you had to invest into your microphone and headphones. Congratulations, right? All this stuff. I wasn't ready either. But like
Nudge.
it's not a carrot that he dangled. He actually saw you in your podcast and said, you need to start a podcast. And he gave you that medicine of like, wow, someone who created the Gene Keys sees that in me, right? And what Kelly did for me, this is what I have to share. She interviewed me twice this week for Reclamation Radio, right? And it's not like I've made it and it's not anything. It's like, when she asked me to be on her podcast that saved my life, the biggest thing was like, holy shit, I'm going to meet my hero, first of all, and I'm going to be of service on a grand scale to tell my story about recovery. But also, it was this validation of like when I went off my medication, I was sharing this with her on her podcast, like literally 2 days ago, that one of the most challenging things was when I decided to go off my meds and do Vital Mind Reset. Dr. Kelly Brogan's program of recovery, I had to do it quietly because everybody around me was looking at me like, are you taking your meds? Is she taking her meds? Texting, my sister's texting my
Mm.
boyfriend, is she okay? And I'm like, hey, I'm doing Kelly Brogan's Vital Mind Reset. Then I'm going off my meds. So I had to lie about it, right? But which was really challenging. It was huge what I had to go through to get to where I am today. And I know I chose it and I'm grateful for everything. But the part I want to say is when I connected to Kelly, this is finishing the earlier story. There was a moment I tried to do, this is important, that I tried to do the Vital Mind Reset in April of 2023. She did it every 6 months and I couldn't do it. I couldn't afford it. And then
Mm.
October came around and I still couldn't afford it because I couldn't function and make any money. And my boyfriend is working, but he has to take a lot of time off because I have so much anxiety being alone. I'm the most independent person on the planet, but I couldn't be alone because of the meds. That's how scary it was. So I made a video for Kelly. I had this moment of like, I'm going to kill myself because I can't live like this. And I can't afford her program because it was $3,000, right?
Mm.
But this is her life's work and it's worth a like, look at me. I should be dead, right?
Right.
I'm breathing because of whatever it cost, right? So I
Hmm.
had a moment where I'm going to make her a video. Spirit said, I prayed, Spirit said, make her a video and ask if she'll give you a discount or a payment plan. So I did. And I made this video knowing that if she said no, I was going to overdose the next day on pills because I refused, I couldn't live anymore. I was desperate, right? I was not
Hmm.
going to live the life of the fat, sick, depressed woman because who can't function or leave the house, who has a panic attack when she has to get blood drawn because it means leaving the house. I don't mind getting my.
Yeah.
So when I reached out to Kelly with this video, her response was, yes, absolutely. I see you and you've got this. I believe in you. And it was that little thing that Richard Rudd did for you, which was like pulling that little shiny bit out. That was like, there's so much going on in your life, Lena. But the number one thing that like gets your blood excited is interviewing and talking because you're inquisitive, just like Joe Rogan, right? You have that thing of wanting to learn. That's why you watch all the podcasts, right?
Yeah.
So, but I'm just saying, so the thing that the Funny Farm is going to do for people like you and I is we're going to find that little bit of diamond who's covered in dust and be like, hey, okay, so you've got no talents, you don't like yourself, you're a drug addict, you've been raped multiple times, you're addicted to drugs, there's nowhere to live, you have no money, but you're really good with dogs.
Mm.
Oh, you're an isolator. You don't have any friends. You don't want any friends, but you like trees and dogs. Then come and live and work at the Funny Farm and be the person who takes care of the dogs and camps out
Hmm.
the back and comes and eats with us. And that's your service, right? Like, what a life. That's all
Wow.
you need, right? So it's not like this magical thing. It's just that I know I have that gift. And Kelly has it too, because she said it in the interview. She said, I have this thing where I can see that shiny bit of the person who's literally a day away from killing themselves. So
Hmm.
she said yes. She gave me $2,000 off, right? So I had to come up with £1,000 or dollars, which I didn't have. And then literally within the next 6 hours, I sold two paintings at $500 each. Right? And I was just like, really? Oh my God. And I was in and I was like, you know what I mean? So
Mm.
Spirit God showed up for me but I had to take that risk because
Yeah.
the most terrifying thing was making her a video when I looked the way I did and suicidal, and she might say no. And then I was like, well, if she says no, you kill yourself, so there's no repercussions. No one's going to care that you were a desperate, broken person and that you
But
asked
she
for help.
recognized that. Yeah.
Yeah,
See?
she
Hmm.
didn't know. I didn't say I was suicidal. If you don't say yes, I'm going to kill myself. She
Right.
actually
But she could probably feel it. She could.
Yeah, but I told her on camera the other day that that was the story, and you could tell in her face she didn't know that I was that
Mm.
desperate, but she was that generous, right? She's the
Hmm.
most kindest, generous woman I've ever met. I
Oh,
thought
that's
she was
wonderful.
like a bitch babe, like a business bitch babe, but she's
So
so kind
humble.
and
Mm.
sweet and lovely. Like you sum her up as lovely. Okay, I know I'm going off.
All right, let's do some cards. Yeah, we have like 3 more minutes.
Do you have to be somewhere?
I have a lot to do today because this is my one day where I'm not working and the kids are at daycare, and I just have like, I just need to get a few things done. Sorry, I'm not. I'm gonna reframe that. I don't need to. I get to. So,
Yeah, no, you're a busy woman. I love also that you're fitting this in too. You're showing full-time mamas that they can do this. So
oh
what's
yes.
for the cards? And
The,
I'm going to move over so they're on the screen.
sure. The question for the cards is, what is the message for humanity for this time? And I think that, by the way, just a little side note, when you talked about the funny farm and the way I've always experienced the funny farm, it's like you are bridging the new earth. Like you're the change that Richard Rudd talks about with the dragonfly, you know? We've swam in the water for so long and now we're going up to stork and we're going to learn how to fly. And it's
Yeah.
scary and a lot of people feel a lot of anxiety, and uncertainty, and that's completely understandable, but it's also so exciting. So I'm also so excited to be a part of the Funny Farm, and I can't wait to contribute and be of service with it.
I mean, you are just by interviewing me. Okay,
Yes.
I'm going to read these cards and I'm going to okay. So your question was a message for humanity. So what came up was the whale card. I'm just going to hold this here because if I put it over here it
That
disappears.
you can't see. Uh-huh.
I'll put it up
Yeah,
on the
that's
screen.
good.
This is the whale. And the whale is about going deeper, right? So deep down inside, it's all going to work out. And it's also, the whale's about going deeper, not staying at the surface like the shark. Not the sharks don't go deep, but they're known for scaring us at the surface. So if we stay at the surface level, which is we're on the verge of a nuclear war, give me all the stuff, Lena. The schools are falling apart, the
Oh
medical,
yeah, World War III might start. The education system's failing. Yeah, just everything's going to shit, pretty
the
much.
climate,
The
left
climate
and
is
right, trans agendas versus this agenda, pro-life versus pro-choice. There's a war everywhere, the polarities, right? But the main one is that we're going to blow each other up today, right? Like
right,
that's right. So that's very surface. That's very sharky because I can have you convinced by the end of this program that we're gonna like actually something bad's gonna happen, or we can focus on giggling and this thing that keeps jumping in and change our vibration and literally
right.
raise the vibration of humanity by being giggly and ridiculous on your first podcast, making people laugh. We've raised their vibration, right? This thing is hysterical. I can't. So
Okay.
deep down inside, we know it's all going to work out, right? But make waves at the surface. See how her tail is making a wave so it's like it's not about going deep down and hiding. It's about going deep to my root, to my my womb space that creates life, right? Understanding that I am a creator of life and that my man, my husband, father of my children, whoever's talking, right, has that seed, and we are these incredible creators who created all of this bullshit and all of the fun solution, right? Like
Mm,
humanity is so caught up in thinking they're all victims of all these people outside of themselves, like even the war in Israel and Palestine and Iran and whatever, all of them, right? We think we are a victim of all of this, and we certainly are if something terrible happens, but we're choosing to be victimized by the narrative, the storyline, the 24/7 news channel, right?
right. We're
And we
feeding
are
ourselves that.
yeah, but
Hmm.
I mean, look at the pandemic, whether you're like, whether you're on this side and you believe it was absolutely 100% real and thank God for the vaccine, or you're the other side of it was an incredible attempt, but and thank you for revealing a lot of the stuff that was revealed. However you want to look at it, right? I choose to not be a victim. I choose to be grateful that it actually woke up a lot of people, right? That even the
Right,
people who got sick from the vaccine, if that happened, right? They were awoken to they might be being coerced into something that's not great for them, right? So it's about not being at so turn the news off. And this isn't about like not watching the news because my mom's a 24/7 news watcher, which I get. You want to watch it, but just be aware that we are creators, right? That
right,
if I believe in prayer, so just say I'm a Christian, I'm an Orthodox Christian, and I believe that prayer is real. And I'm spending my time watching television, and they're like, any second now, so and so, this crazy Trump is going to do this, and this Netanyahu, and this Putin, and Zelensky, and all these crazy wild cards are in control. That's going to make me actually create that in this world.
right.
Now I'm scared. And now
Exactly.
I have no room for my daughter who's having a panic attack because she's got ADHD and she just needs to go to nature. Like I can't parent, right? So,
And now you're living in fear instead of living in love. So it's
and
mhm,
what that does to me, cortisol, like the what is it called? What is the condition that like if you it autoimmune right now,
mm,
autoimmune disease that they
autoimmune.
can't diagnose but they can medicate for, and maybe if I was happy, I wouldn't be sick. Like, so
Right,
that inside, it's all going to work out. So I chose three cards, where we're headed, how we're going to get there, and what needs to be let go in order to get there. So where we're headed is deep down inside, cool waters, everything's going to work out. Calm waters, deep waters, right? Depth,
hmm,
connection, the wisdom of the whale, right? Beautiful. What needs to be released in order to get there is the dragon, right?
Mm.
Dragon is actually the tower in the tarot, right? So whether you like tarot or not, tarot is just archetypes. We're just talking about archetypes. This is the archetype of the tower, which is things falling the fuck apart, right?
What did I tell you in January? This is my
Exactly.
year of the tower.
Yeah, exactly. And the dragon. Is it the year of the dragon? No, we're in the snake.
Snake.
Dragon was last year, but still, the dragon's part of the snake, right? Think of a snake with a dragon head. So this is about incinerating everything that stands between me and love, me and God, me and nature, me and connection. It's about incinerating the belief of separation. Period. Period. That's what wants to
Mm.
be released. The
Shout
tower,
out to Zach Bush, who always emphasizes this.
what does he say?
Zach Bush always says that it's the separation that has caused all the suffering in the
A
human
thousand percent,
ever.
a thousand percent. And
Mm.
everything that all of these incredible people who you and I both watch are saying is all 1,000% true. And we're all playing a part of it in it. None of us are victims, even if you don't have, you're not American, you're not Israeli, you're not Arab, you're not like, we still hold a piece of the whole, right?
Yeah,
Like, it's like I've got gangrene in my foot, right? But so what I do to my shoulder affects my foot, right?
right. It's all connected.
Yeah, it's all connected. It's the same thing. It's the earth, right? So if I'm over here in England pretending that the war in Iran has nothing to do with me because I'm Canadian living in England and I have
That's what,
like,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
Mm.
but the tower, the beautiful thing about the tower and the dragon is that it incinerates everything that stands between you and love. Therefore, it leaves love, right? Dragons
Mm.
leave us in a state of love, right? And they are protectors and they know when to protect and when not protect. They also can't be manipulated. You can't manipulate a dragon. We all know that, right? The dragon in
Mm.
me cannot be manipulated. Like when she comes out, she's like fucking fire and truth and the sword, right?
Mm.
So where we're headed is the cool waters of the whale.
Ocean. Hmm.
How we're going to get there's the fiery fire of the tower. And a tower is also winning the lottery. A tower is meeting your soulmate. A tower is getting the job. A tower is giving birth, right? It's anything that is a complete destruction of who you were the day before, right?
Mm.
Second that baby came into your life, it was the biggest tower moment because you're never going to not be a mama again, right?
Hmm.
Very positive stuff as well. And then what needs to be released in order to get there is the Barracuda card. And the Barracuda card is about it's the card of being bamboozled. It's also the Three of Swords in the tarot. It's the card of heartbreak, but it's the mind. So swords are air, the element of air, which is the element of the mind. So it's three of the mind, which means there's too much. Like it should just be two, like a choice. But now I've got too
Mm.
many choices. So threes are about collaboration and or choice and or a third party, right? So to me,
The Holy Trinity.
yeah, well, exactly. Like, I mean, it's the power of three, of course, on many, many levels, however it lands. That's the thing about these cards is if you think about the Holy Trinity, is that the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost? Is that the
Yes.
Holy? Okay, so,
Hmm.
and it could be at other Trinities, right? It could be a whole bunch of different things, but if
Like the
that's
masculine and feminine and the child also.
totally, exactly.
Hmm.
If wherever your mind goes when you choose this card is the message from Spirit. So I'm going to have a guidebook for these cards, but that now to me is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost in the water element because it is a water element, but it's a
Mm. And
sword.
we are now in the age of what? Aquarius.
Aquarius. Exactly.
Yeah.
But so this is the bamboozle card, but it's also about ancestral wounds, ancestral what's the word? Patterns, right?
Hmm.
Traditions as well that may not be serving us, right? So think of like if we want to serve humanity on all levels, my job, the thing that wants to be relieved from me is my belief that if I shine, I'm not safe. It's a lifelong belief
Right.
of mine, right?
Hmm.
That I'm not good enough or whatever. So it can be going against a family belief. Also, that war is inevitable. We've been living in a time where war is inevitable for a long time, right? And it's not
Hmm.
inevitable. World War III is not an inevitable thing. It's a great gift for us to all take a moment of like, I'm watching television. I'm terrified. My heart's beating so fast. I can't get a whiff of a nervous system regulation where I can then actually turn my phone off, right?
Right.
You know that moment when you're doom scrolling and you're like, I'm doom scrolling. I don't want to do this. Just three more, whatever. I'm just going to watch this video. It's like I'm so caught in fear and attachment that I have to pray, God, please help me put my phone down. And then I put it down. Or I don't, but I
Mm.
usually do if I
Hmm.
pray, right? So
Yeah.
prayer. So this is about like bringing in prayer. It's about acknowledging the heartbreak. It's about acknowledging my personal heartbreak, knowing that people are sick, starving, dying, killing each other, that there's people in Israel who are creating, who are pulling the trigger to people who are getting killed, and there's people in Palestine who are pulling the trigger as well,
Right.
and in the States, like it breaks my heart that there's people who are like I can guarantee, dude, I have so many friends who are Israeli. I don't have any friends who are Palestinian because I haven't lived in Palestine. I lived in Israel, but I never met any Palestinians. But they're amazing people. But I just want to say the Israeli people that I know are the most loving, kind people who have actually left the country because they don't want to go to war. They don't want their
Mm-hmm.
sons. Like I met a woman after October 7th in Portugal. She came and lived with me with a bunch of her refugee friends who were escaping. And they left because if they stayed, her son would have to go to war and kill somebody. And she's a woman of peace. And he was there too, right? And they're hearing their best friend's son get drafted and die or be taken. And this isn't about October 7th being worse than anything else. It's the wounds of the war, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you know this, dude, I'm talking to someone who was raised in a
I
war.
was gonna say I escaped Serbia when the bombing was happening. So,
Can you just share that with us? Because I'm talking to someone who has experienced war, right?
well, actually, I'm gonna do my solo podcast on that. I
Okay,
decided
perfect.
that's gonna be my. So
Okay,
I'll put that
perfect,
up soon.
perfect. So let me finish this. So what
Yeah.
needs to be released is this card is about going against the grain, right? There's two going this way and there's one going that way. And it's about turning around and going with the flow, but the flow of love, the flow of reclamation, right? The flow of not being a victim, going with the flow of love, of service, of community, of belief in humanity, of praying, of going to church. Like I'm going to church now
Yeah, you said.
not because I'm desiring like eternal heaven and this and that with Jesus. It's because it's so nice to go somewhere for 2 hours where nobody has their phone out. Everybody's singing or praying or feeling or connecting in the name of a shared belief system that's based on love and service, right? And it's a community. I mean, this is the card of left versus right, right? Black
Mm,
versus white.
mm-hmm.
This is the card of polarity. And it's like, let's imagine how many things Republicans and Democrats agree on, right?
Right. Right.
Healthy food,
Yeah.
clean water for them, and then clean water for the world. I can't imagine a Democrat saying no to that. I can't imagine a Republican saying no to that, right?
Right. Let's
S-
focus on what we agree on, right?
we agree on,
Yeah.
right? Like we agree that, you know, let me just say this one thing because this is about how we're healing humanity. And it's very important because these are small topics that I have an opinion on, right? Like pro-life versus
Abortion.
pro-choice, right?
Or yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Pro-life people in their heart of hearts know that there's a child being killed and they want to save that child, right?
Right.
And they're aware that there's other factors going on. Pro-choicers are aware that this woman can have the choice to have her baby and be free, but there's no other choice. Like, where's the choice? What if you're, when I'm going to share this, when I was 32, I got pregnant in America. I was living there for 6 years illegally, and I never would have had an abortion, right? I was pro-choice as in give them the choice, but if I ever got pregnant, I'm going to have the baby. But I found myself no money, pregnant, a couple years sober, but totally so regulated and unmanageable in my sobriety that I didn't even know who the father was. I'd met an ex-boyfriend one night and had unprotected sex with him. And then the next
Mm,
night, my ex-boyfriend of like 2 months showed up and I had sex with him. Sober at 2 years, right? So like I'm
mm-hmm.
32, I know better, but I got pregnant. And I was a feminist at the time and I believed that it was more important for me to take care of me than for me to not, right? And it's
Right.
fine because I had it, but if there was an option, like a choice, like give me a choice other than keep my baby and go back to Canada and be a welfare mom, which I didn't want to do to my kids. That was my
Right.
choice. That's my choice. And relapse because I knew I couldn't stay clean and sober with a kid because I need my sleep. Or terminate the pregnancy. And I'm grateful I did because I have the experience of like devastation over that. I know what it's like to choose to have a termination and then live the rest of your life not knowing what you didn't know, which is like, holy shit, that was a blessing, right? And
Mm.
I play with them in spirit world. I've got two little babies because I felt like they were twins. It was one. So
Oh,
imagine now a Funny Farm birthing center in Miami, Florida, where the first one's going to be. So it's the Funny Farm concept, getting them to Earth, air, all of that with the music and the comedy. And we're taking pregnant women who don't have any other choice. So now they have a choice. You've got a teenage daughter that you can send to the Funny Farm for 9 months. by the end of that 9 months, she's probably going to want to keep her child because we've set her up with skills, a home business, a connection, other mothers, outdoors. She knows that when she's got her period and she's got a 2-year-old screaming, that she has a community where someone can
Right.
come and take that child. Like, do you see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It's not just Republicans giving money to these babies, like, you want the baby until it's out of the belly, which is the argument of the Democrats, which I get.
Hmm.
So, like, here's another phase of the funny farm. They're each going to have different personalities. Like, there's going to be a
Right.
funny farm. Because, again, and Kelly Brogan, she used to medicate pregnant women and birthing. I know you have to
Mm.
go. You're
No,
right.
it's fine. Yeah.
But so this is what I'm talking about. This is like, I don't see anything bad happening in the world. I do watch the news, I hear what's going on, but I see like, wow,
I
okay.
see the good things. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're getting pushed to a surrender towards God, whether that's
Right.
your Jesus, your Buddha, your this, or just going to AA and like, it's God of your understanding, God, right? Um, yeah, great outdoors, good orderly direction, whatever it is. But I see a world going from separation and misbelief, which is a lack in faith, a lack in God, a lack in connection, to like a surrender, like, okay, maybe I should pray, right? Maybe I'm just
Hmm.
pray. Life sucks. Turn on the news, right? I don't believe in God. I'm an atheist. I hate God. I was molested at the church. I'll never go back. Don't say Jesus, whatever. But like Iran's gonna bomb America. What if I just prayed to like
Mm.
whoever it is, like, God, please help us. Please help them. Show me how I can serve. Show me how I can live through this. Show me how I can make my kids dinner tonight while I'm terrified that we're going to get blown up. Lena and her
Hmm.
husband, right?
Hmm.
Man, I went off.
Oh no, you're fine.
So that's what the cards are about. So these cards are going to fund the funny farm, right? So
I
on,
can't wait to get my deck.
what'd you
Woohoo.
say? Oh, I
I
know.
can't
And
wait to get my deck.
you're going to love it. And it's going to give kids and adults an opportunity to play with the animals. This is about the big reveal. This is the toad.
Oh, the toad with the mushrooms. I love that one.
On my YouTube channel, I have the whole story of me getting diagnosed, going to the psych wards. Like it's a 6-part series that is interesting if you want to know what it's like. Yeah. And there's
Yes.
more to come.
Okay, my dear. I wish you a beautiful day in England. And
I love
you're getting the sunshine in your hair now. I love it.
you.
Have a
And the
great
big
day,
heat.
and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Love
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.